Hello, and welcome back to Practically Political. I'm Dave Spencer, and I'm here with my two comrades, Ashley Davis and Kurt Bardella. As always, it's great to have you with us. So let's get right to it. Folks, as you probably heard, there's been a debate going on within the Democratic Party about how to handle this whole Garcia / immigration thing. You have some people like Gavin Newsom saying it's the distraction of the day. We should be talking about the things they don't want us to talk about, like the market and the economy and tariffs. And then you have some people like the Pod Save America crew that are saying it doesn't matter. This is about who we are. If we don't have due process for one of us, we don't have it for any of us. So I would love to get trenchant analysis from both of you on how you feel this issue should be handled, because I think there are cogent arguments on both sides. So, Ashley, why don't we start with you?
Sure. And Dave and Kurt, you both know that my background's the homeland security angle. So I have a little bit more of a conservative spin on this than some of my normal comments. But listen, I look at this of how Trump's reacting, and he is letting the news cycle continue to cover this. And so in my mind, he feels that this is an issue that the Republicans can win on. As you remember back when the Signal Gate was happening, he threw out he was going to run a third term just to kind of take the air out of the room with regards to that coverage. But he is letting this happen. I think that listen, it was the number one or number two, depending on what time of the year it was for the election, immigration and the economy. Obviously, the Democrats, which you guys can comment on, should be talking about the economy right now, the uncertainty. That's what's happening. But instead, going down this path of supporting Garcia when he came here illegally. I understand the due process, but I'm not sure how many people around the country really think this guy has any rights at all. So, yesterday it also came out that in regards to Van Hollen going down to support Garcia in El Salvador, that he never reached out to some of the other tragic instances that happened in Maryland from illegal immigrants and their families. So I just think Republicans feel like this is a winning issue and let the Democrats talk about it all day long.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is certainly the Sean Hannitys of the world are saying, hey, if this is the hill they want to die on, go for it. This is why the president was elected. And this guy is alleged to be an MS-13 member. He was a wife beater. Even those people who really support him, I think, will admit that his past and his record is uh, controversial at best. But I'm curious as to your thoughts, Kurt.
I agree with Ashley in general that most people in this country, this is not the hill to die on. They're not thinking about this. Democrats have this tendency to spend an inordinate amount of oxygen on things that affect a very small demographic. Uh, and that's not to say that I absolutely believe that we need to have due process in this country. That we are at the heart of our country, a nation that does believe in the check and balance. That there are three equal branches of government. And so when you have a dynamic where one branch is willfully ignoring the directive of the other, like that is a problem. That is worthy of a conversation in our political discourse. Will the majority of the country care about it? Absolutely not. They will not. But should we also so casually just look the other way when one branch is saying you need to comply with this directive and the other branch is saying go pound sand? I like because if you allow that to happen in this space, what's to stop it from spreading into something that we ultimately care about much more? Like it all starts somewhere. We always say, and this is an imperfect analogy, so no one take this literally, please. If we had stopped Hitler at Munich, a lot of horrible atrocities would have happened after. Um, you have to call it out the first infraction. It's a lot harder to stop something when they got three, four, five, six examples of precedent breaking things that they have done where everyone said, we don't really care about this because it doesn't affect a lot of people, versus in the beginning, at least making the intellectual argument that, A, it's not okay that a court has decided, a judge has decided X, and the administration, because they don't like it, have said, we're not going to do that. what are you going to do about it? That's not how our system is supposed to work. I do not think Democrats should be spending as much oxygen on that. I think you can make that case, make that salient point, and then move on to things that I think are much more prevalent in the consciousness of the American people. Again, it's an imperfect situation for Democrats. I don't think you can just ignore it, but you sure as heck don't need to be talking about it this much, and you sure as heck don't need to be going to freaking El Salvador if you're a United States senator. I mean, that's just grandstanding, ridiculous PR stunt.
Kurt,
And go
sorry,
ahead.
Dave, go ahead. No, I just was gonna say quickly, this goes back, and I've been saying this for a long time, just the weaponization of our judicial system, which has happened on both sides. I mean, Republicans and Democrats. And I think that is the crux of the problem in general. Obviously, the Democrats did it under Trump. Trump did it for not under Trump. The Democrats did it to attack Trump. The Republicans did it to attack Hillary Clinton. And I just think that's the foundation, that's the issue, Kurt, that you're discussing.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah. I think that's absolutely right. That both parties in different ways are have egregiously, acted, and the result has been the undermining of the process altogether.
well, I would argue that if anything, though I think it has happened on both sides, I think Merrick Garland was a disaster. He was slow. He had recorded responses to everything. I mean, he kind of reminds me of Bill Mueller, a politician who and someone who's been passed by the times. And I do not see he did launch an investigation into President Biden and into Hunter Biden, and I can't imagine Pam Bondi doing that to anyone who's associated with Trump. And the other thing I would say is that my most comical thing about this whole saga is when they say, "Oh, there's nothing we can do to get him back." If Donald Trump said to President Bukele of San Salvador, "Jump," he would say, "How high?" So all you have to do is ask him. I think the reason they don't want him to come back is because he's the first person apparently that has left that prison alive, though that may be a little bit of hyperbole, but he could tell what's going on and he could spill the beans about a lot of stuff. But in any case, let's
Dave, I
move
just
on.
wanna comment on that. Yeah, he
Yeah.
can come back, but I think what the I've seen Stephen Miller talk about this a lot, whether you like him or not like him, doesn't matter, but
When
what they're saying is he can come back, but he's gonna be arrested, and then then he will have his due process and be
That's
sent somewhere else.
fine.
So I
Just give
think
them due
that's
process. I think the administration is wasting a lot of energy on this, and I think they're alienating the courts, whom they're gonna need, by the way, down the road to, in their minds, hopefully not challenge a lot of other stuff they're doing. So I think this is wasting a lot of energy on something that's not significant. You're right. The guy was
They'd
probably
much rather, though,
president for
Dave.
4
They'd much
years.
rather talk
So
about this than the
right.
economy and inflation and Elon
yeah.
Musk. I guarantee you.
I know, but give him due process and then ship him out again.